What up, Whiskey Ginger fans? Welcome back to the show. If this is your first time joining us, hey, welcome to the show. You're new to this, subscribe, tell a friend, push the word around. It's hard because the old YT that you're watching this on, you know, the big company, they are pushing people down and not promoting as much. They changed their terms of service and all sorts of stuff. So support us, dude. Keep telling people about us. We really appreciate it. You want to support us even more? Hey, go get some merch, this Whisk Ginge merch like this dope rocks glass. Go to andrewsantinostore.com. We also have hats, T-shirts, hoodies. We got it all, man. We got all the good stuff now. Really quality stuff made by great, wonderful artists. It supports the community of artists that we work with, and we're really proud of this stuff. So go to andrewsantino.com for all that you need to know. And if you want to buy the merch, go to andrewsantinostore.com. That's where it's at. You can also find the Patreon at andrewsantino.com. Check us out, the Whisk Ginge Patreon. I do one-on-one solo Cheeto chats. It's very fun. We're trying to just make some magic out of all the nonsense that's going on right now. This week's episode is super fun. I got a couple of buddies in here with me, having a really good time. Two guys that literally despise each other, but for some reason they keep just working it out day by day, week to week. You know, that's love.
In here, we pour whiskey, 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 whiskey.
You're that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest today is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that for all my guests, but I mean it once again. It is the Sklar Brothers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
It's great to be here.
How's life?
Life is okay. I made probably the dumbest decision of my life in the midst of this pandemic. I decided to go on a diet, which I liken to, I guess, taking an oath of celibacy right before you're about to go to the Olympics as an athlete.
Right.
Like I'm diving into that Olympic Village just trying to, keep it clean.
It's a bad idea, man.
Saving myself. No, it is so dumb. It's like, what do you have on your hands right now? Time?
Yeah.
Access to grocery stores. That's pretty much all we got.
Yeah.
And then I also have kids sitting around with like great food. Kid food is so good.
The best food on earth.
It's so fucking good.
No rules.
No rules. Throw it out the window. It's like the end of a drunken night is all day for a kid.
That's their meals. Yeah, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That was one of the first time I learned that adults are not supposed to eat what kids can eat. Like kids can eat pizza for breakfast.
Absolutely.
But why are we not allowed to? Why is this social faux pas that we're looked down upon? It's, by the way,
it's not social. It's you as you get older, it will kill you. It will.
I guess
you say no because I think you're younger, but I'm telling you, it will destroy.
Okay, look, if you had pizza for breakfast, but you had a smoothie for lunch and a salad for dinner, what's wrong with that?
That you're definitely going in the right direction by like top loading your day.
Yeah, you switch it up.
Right.
What is it? Breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper? Isn't that the whole thing?
I think it's breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and then
a servant.
Dinner like a king transitioning to be a queen.
Oh, right.
So, you're having that moment where you're like, I can't be like this anymore.
I can't live like this. I can't have gout.
5'8", 210.
So what do you get? You don't want to turn into an egg.
No.
You don't want to be a round ball of a person anymore?
You don't want to be a round ball.
So you've lost how much?
I've lost 15 pounds. Wow. On Jenny fucking Craig.
No, for real?
Yeah, I'm a basic bitch.
You're a JC girl.
JC girl. Jenny Craig, it's old school. I needed someone to be like, hey, here's what you cook. Poke holes in this dumb thing and put it in that thing for 2 minutes and then put it in your mouth.
Are you not is everything organic from JC?
Absolutely not.
So how do they verify that this is better food for you?
It's not that it's better, it's less.
It's smaller portions.
It's less. And it's teaching you how to go I mean, I'm not trying to turn this into a seminar for those people. I'm just telling you what's going on.
This show is sponsored by Jenny Craig right now. We're doing a JC ad. This whole show turns into a JC ad.
What I'm saying is that it's like what I realize, and this is sort of the life of a comic too, when you get out on the, like everything's free. Like that's the thing that people don't realize. I feel like part of our lives is like when someone comps you something, at least for a second you consider it, right?
Totally.
Even if it's something you don't need or you don't want.
Yeah.
So someone gives you a roast battle jacket that you would never wear, and it says roast battle on the back. You're like, it's from the Comedy Central show. We battled each other. It's a great memento, and then it sits in your closet for
You
like
don't do
2
anything
years.
with
And
it.
you're like,
Well, your wife or one of your kids will appreciate it when you're gone.
when you're gone,
When
right.
you're dead, it'll be a cool, Dad used to do this thing that was neat.
So as they hand it to you, they should be like, this is for your kids when you die.
Yeah.
So you don't wear it. Don't put it on.
Put this in your when I die bin.
Right.
There should be a when I die bin. You're right, though. I have a meltdown jacket that's very cool that Rosenstein gave to me, and it says it's like a how do I say? It's like a Carhartt type of jacket.
Right.
You know, a workman's jacket.
Yeah.
You guys probably have it.
Yeah.
And it says meltdown on the back.
We got it.
It's in a bin in the garage. It's never moved.
You won't wear it.
I would never wear that.
So, that when it's given to you for a second, there's something inside of us. Maybe it's just like that's the mentality we have. Like we've worked our way up within this comedy world to be given the free comped thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're an opener, you don't get that thing. And then when
Right.
you're a feature, you kind of don't get that thing. And then when you're the headliner, it's like, hey, we're bringing you drinks after the show. And what do you guys want to eat? We'll give it between the two shows.
Right.
You get what you want to eat. And then you look at the menu and you're like, all this stuff looks good and all of it's bad for you. So you just take it all in and because it's free.
Yeah.
So it's like reprogramming yourself to be like, hey, if it's free, because that's all the food on your kid's plate is free.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, that's
You
free.
just
Let me
pick
have a
at
little
it.
of that. And so you just are learning to like the moment where like I'll throw something away. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's like passing up an open shot in a basketball game.
It's the dumbest. Why? Why would you?
Well, but
you have to go for it.
You do, but like if it's just outside of your range. So let's say you're 19 feet. Wait, as people, as comedians, as actors, we have to take the shot.
Take the shot.
That's what ingrained in us. We've learned how to do that. That's what we do. We go out. You see the shot, you take the shot. You want the ball at the end of the game. I've seen you on stage. We've had to fucking follow you.
Yeah.
There's that moment where you're like, man, he's going for it. He wants it. Like a lot of people would step on the main stage on a Saturday night at the Comedy Store and be like, I don't want this heat.
Oh,
don't want
I
this
love
moment.
it. I go for
You
it.
love it.
Yeah,
We
you
love
guys
it.
walk right into the fire.
We walk into the fire. We love it. Even if at times we know it's going to be a bloodbath. You follow Joe Rogan on that show, it's a bloodbath.
Sure.
And that's not your fault. Everyone's checking out because they saw what they came to see, and you have to step into the aftermath and try to make something out of that. Even in that, we want it.
Right.
But so like that's the ingrained mentality in your life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just apply that to everything. You apply that to when you're driving. You're like, I can get in that little crease. And you go, you take it, and you're like, okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea. With food, you do that too. You sit there and you go like, I can do that. I can do that. But then when you throw it away, when you pass up the 19-foot jumper because you can only really make a 15-foot jumper, you should be like, that's your range. That's where you're safe. When you dump a plate of like nuggets into the trash,
Yeah.
you feel like a champion.
Really?
You do. There's like
So you
something
know what I'm
inside
doing? You know what I'm doing?
What?
I'm going to pump fake on the 19-footer.
Step in.
And I'm going to step in and I'm going to go right hard to the lane and take the foul, which means to me,
What? Yeah.
eat the nuggets, go for a run in an hour and a half. That's what it is. Just go run
You're still taking the shot.
I'm still gonna take a form of the shot.
Right.
That's what, as we get older, that's it.
Yes.
You used to be able to just take the shot and then go to the bench.
Right.
Now I
Now
have to run. I run every day.
you make
So
a
that's my
choice.
excuse for eating bad stuff.
You can still do it, and I applaud that, and I'm
Yeah.
psyched that you're running. I just want people. You know what it is?
Are you exercising as well as doing
Exercising
JC?
as well. Yes,
Okay.
I'm exercising.
You're full
well.
into the program, dude.
I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to just.
And you
be
lost 15.
15.
That's really
on
good.
my way to 25, which I want to do, which will make me insanely thin to the point where I do think people will be like, "Are you sick?"
What's your key number of I can't go, I don't want to go any lower than this. What if you become obsessed and you get really like
Look,
scary thin?
so I'm not gonna lie, but I am crossing fingers for a Dallas Buyers Club too.
Okay.
And, I don't think McConaughey can get that low anymore.
Not again, no.
So if I can slide in and be that guy and just
Why not?
Look.
Someone has to do it. What if your brother gains weight and you lose weight? What are you going to do on stage?
I'm gonna become Laurel and Hardy. We do something like that.
That's it, right?
Or I don't know. I mean, look,
I
Dallas,
say your brother gains 50 and you lose 25,
25, 30.
and then it becomes
Who
a
do you
whole
love
new
more?
act.
Right. Who do you love more? Well, it's funny because we did a bit of we did this bit on this TBS show, and it was a bit we've always
Tournament of Laughs,
which we've always tried to do on stage, and now I really want to do it on stage because it was our cousin asked us, or our cousin who's like almost 70 lives in Austin.
Huh.
She in the last 5 years has become like a comedy nerd, which is wonderful in some ways because she really understands our world.
And
Like
she's 70 years old?
Oh yeah. She's hip. She's cool. She was married
Wow.
to for a long time to one of the 3 guys that started South by Southwest. So
Oh,
one of the
cool.
originals, Lewis
Wow.
Black, not the comedian.
Right.
The
editor,
editor of
yeah.
the Austin Chronicle. He's produced a ton of movies and stuff. And she's like she knows you. Like she's a fan of yours. Like she knows
Wild.
every single comic. I'm not saying you're obscure. I'm just saying she
Shout out
knows-
to her, by the way.
Hey, Ann.
And
Love
whoop,
you.
whoop.
So she was like, after a show, the next day we had brunch with her. She saw us at Cap City and went out to lunch. And she said, look, I have some notes about your comedy. And like,
Anne is the best.
come on.
I
And
love. Did she bring like a notepad?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, she's the best.
So Randy's like, I'm like, I don't want to hear any of these notes. Randy's like, I want to hear all of these notes.
yeah, dude.
So the first thing she said was, I think you guys don't have enough conflict on stage. There's not enough like
Oh, she wants a narrative.
she wants battle between
Yeah.
the two of us, which incidentally, we went on and did the roast battle on Comedy Central. We battled each other, which
Yeah.
was super fun and a great experience. But so she said, I think you should argue more on stage. And Randy later said to me, this is a real conversation we had in the cab back to our wherever we were going. He's like, what if she, maybe she's right.
Yeah.
What if she's right? What if that's what's keeping us from reaching the next level in our career? I think we should at least consider it. I'm like, no, there's no way we're going to do that. And he's like, well, I think we should do it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to argue with you. And he's like, well, I think you should. And I'm like, I absolutely don't think we should. And then it
Perfect.
became a massive argument, which we then play out on
That's
stage.
the bit.
Which
Yeah.
is the bit.
So Anne is
She-
she getting any money for this?
She wants money.
you
but
guys owe her something for the bit.
here, this is what we always say about being a comedy team, and we do owe our money for the bit. The best part about being a comedy team is that we get to split the money.
50-50?
It's 50-50 now.
Don't you
but
think you deserve 60, he deserves 40?
if he gains,
You said that to me off stage.
I have said that to you off stage. If he gains more weight, then he might need more.
Okay,
if I
so he
lose
gets 60,
weight,
you get 40. Oh,
because
right.
we're spending less on food.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. The struggle is real. I don't want to make our struggles bigger than what America's going through right now, but
That's more important in my opinion.
thank you. I knew you
What,
would
do
say
your
that.
wives get along very well?
Yeah, they do.
Here's the reason I ask.
Why?
What if one wife didn't like the other wife or didn't like the other family, and then she started doing the thing where it's like, I think you deserve 55 and he deserves 45.
Well, I don't.
Has this ever come up in the family argument? Never, huh?
Do you want it to come up?
Here's why. I have a family friend, I'm not going to mention whose father and brother work together,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an uneven division of labor and of payout. So
Okay.
it becomes it is extremely large fights within the family. Dude, family businesses are tough. You have one. Have you guys ever gotten to a point when it's become close to cutting it off because of business?
No, I'll tell you why. Here, 2 reasons why. This is
Yeah.
a great question. 2 reasons why. One, because doing this is, once you have kids, and I'm not saying kids are a bad thing. I'm saying kids
And they are.
a horrible thing.
Right.
No. I'm saying kids are wonderful. They're great.
Yeah.
It's also hard as shit. And like, let me give you the TV show or movie equivalent. All right.
Sure.
In our stand-up life, we are number 1 on the call sheet, 1 and 1A, which I'd be 1 and he'd be 1A.
Of course. Or one B or C.
C, right.
Right.
So that's who you are on the call sheet. People call you up. You're next on stage. What are your credits? Can I get you a drink? We're pricking you up for press tomorrow morning. Coffees will be ready for you, sir. Very excited to have you here. We're announcing your name. We got your merch set up outside. Someone's taking care of you all the time. You're number 1. Then you go into your family, and you rapidly, if you have 2 kids, you become number 4.
Right.
You go down to number 4, and you have to default to number 4. Segura will tell you that. Everyone will tell you that.
Right.
Doesn't matter how big your Netflix special is. Doesn't matter how big you are. I was saying this about Obama. Obama probably with Sasha, with teenage kids, probably would walk in after doing some amazing deal where he saved the world in some capacity or brokered a deal between 2 nations and walk in and be like, hey girls, how's everything going over there? And there's a moment where God, Dad, you're
You
so
don't
dumb.
get it. Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up, Dad.
I need 5 minutes. So that you go down to number 4
Mm-hmm.
on the Carlet. So the desire to enjoy that moment on top and be together, this is like a vacation. I was describing it this way in another way too, and this is another reason why we will never break this thing up, because it's too fun. It's too fun to be
Right.
in that position, and I think if we broke it up, we would never. It'd take us too long to get back to
get
that
back.
spot again.
Right.
We've created something interesting. We still feel like we have more to do. So if we have shit that we have to deal with each other, our parents always taught us this: get into it and get over it. It's those two things.
Right.
Get into it, fight it out,
Get
and
it out
then
of the
2
way.
minutes later you got to be fine.
That's what brothers mostly do.
Mostly. But, for our perspective, that's the getting to go together and do something.
That's half the fun.
So there was the show Hard Knocks, which I don't know if it's coming back, but because I don't think
I doubt
preseason.
it, but I'd love it.
So Hard Knocks did it a few years ago on the Miami Dolphins, and there was just a little moment
Mm-hmm.
that if you are a parent, you understand this to the nth degree, and you may have watched it and not even registered this
yeah.
moment. So there was a rookie who was rooming with an older guy, right?
Yeah.
And they had suddenly a day off the next day, and the rookie was saying to the older guy who had a family and kids, like, "Hey man, what are we doing tomorrow? Like, we got a day off. What are we gonna do?" And the older guy's like, "You remember when we were running the stairs and we all thought we were going to throw up or whatever, and it was really hard? That was my day off. I got to be with my kids tomorrow." That's hard work. So you go back and
Yeah.
you go out, and it doesn't matter if they wake up early and do press. It doesn't matter if you got to saddle it up and do 2 shows on a Saturday night. It's fun. It's just too much fun.
So there's no ego.
There is no ego.
Have you had to ego check one another ever?
Once or twice. I did Curb. I did an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which meant that he basically couldn't do it. I think
Yeah.
he was bummed about that.
But you told me personally off air that they said they didn't want him on the show.
They specifically requested me. Jeff Garland did.
They said that. They said that we don't want your
Anyone
brother.
but Randy, and then I got it. So
And they said he can come. They let him come to watch, which I
Right.
think was a little diminutive, but
Right. Well, they thought for a while that we had to observe the same rules as the Olsen twins, and I could only work 4 hours.
and then switch and go to school.
That's right. Here's the thing. I knocked it out in 3 hours just so I could avoid.
'cause you could avoid it.
I didn't want him on camera at all.
I want to broach another rumor here.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people have said you're not identical twins, that you are actually fraternal twins, and you got surgery at a young age your parents got surgery to match his face, that you got,
So here's what's interesting.
Yeah.
We are fraternal twins.
right?
We did have surgery.
Yep.
But we didn't have surgery to look like each other. We both had surgery to look like another person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they went ahead and tried to they didn't want one to feel like he looks too much like.
Who's
so,
the person you're trying to look like?
Mel Brooks.
Oh,
The young
okay.
Mel
And
Brooks.
you know what? And it kind of does.
Works, right?
But you've got more hair. Your face is a little bit thinner. You guys you missed some of the features. I got to tell you.
Look,
you didn't do a bad job, but
it's
it's
an
not.
imperfect science. I mean, that's
Right.
you're talking about molding a person's face. It's like on MTV, like the MTV shows where they're like, make me look like that guy. I think is the name of the show.
Make me look like the guy.
I hate my face or whatever.
Take my face.
take my face. That's what we said this about MTV. We said this on our podcast about MTV shows. Is now they're just telling you what the show is in the title.
Yep.
I'm 16 and I'm pregnant. I'm mad. That's my mom and she's gay. It's like that's the whole show. It's just,
That's My Mom and She's Gay is a good show.
It's a great show.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a really good show. But don't you want that anymore? Don't you want authenticity in television anymore? Because now we've come to a place where if it's not going to be scripted, if it's a non-script or a whatever they want to call
those
it,
are still
reality,
scripted,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Yes.
whatever we want to call it this day and age. Don't you want it to just be like I've talked about it before? My favorite show is Alone. Do you know Alone?
where they
Sent out to the middle of
Yes.
the Arctic and you have to live.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what it's about.
Alone.
They're all alone.
Yeah,
Why
but
do I need
there's-
more fodder?
I know, but there is still a layer of abstractness or obtuseness in the title. Like Alone could be, the story about,
If
Sarah
you
Jessica
showed me
Parker
a
in
picture
her
of the
marriage.
Arctic, though,
To Matthew Broderick. Right?
Yes,
So it
yes.
doesn't have to be a guy in the but it applies, but it could apply to many things. If it was I'm stuck in the Arctic by myself, that's
Yeah.
what MTV would call it.
yeah.
I don't have shit and I'm in the Arctic.
Yo, what's up? I might die out here. Presents Guy Alone in the Arctic.
Nick Cannon. These Jews got me out here in the Arctic. What the fuck?
Does he hate Jewish people? Is that what that was? Here's what I did. Instead of reading into it like I
Right.
probably should have,
Yes.
I just tweeted, Nick Cannon's the greatest rapper of all time. And comedian. I'm sorry, I said and comedian of all time. Just to troll the idea of this guy. Look, I've never seen a guy do more with less in the history of our business. And I'll talk
wilding
shit.
out.
You don't have to. I just didn't
Talk
get
shit.
it. So I didn't get that it was like, well, you're angry at a guy who you've let go this far without that much talent. Really does go to show how bullshit our business is. Like, oh, you're mad about a guy that really wasn't talented, that just proved to you that he has these weird relationships with people who who racist and he's just gotten too far without being a thing. When you can be the jack of all, master of none,
Yeah.
and then they let you be famous for it, then they find out who you really are later, and they're like, oh, you suck, and we just didn't even realize.
Kind of pokes a hole in the Jews control the media and are keeping you out.
Is that
theory.
was that his theory?
I mean, it kind of was part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
there is like Jews control everything. Well, if they control everything,
How did
and
you
you're-
get so famous?
I mean, you must have skirted the system, bro.
Yeah.
Because look at where you are, and look at where Randy and I should be hosting Wild and Out if the Jews control the media.
But they didn't offer it to you guys.
No.
And I still go back to this
did
day
not.
and say they should have.
That should have been us and Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
And
why
Steven-
wouldn't it?
And Steven Jackson.
You and all the Jacksons.
All the Jacksons.
You want all the Jacksons.
The Jackson too.
And you guys.
How great would that show be?
The Jackson- Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun Jackson, Steven Jackson, LaToya Jackson, Jermaine Jackson,
And
Tito. There's the Jackson
That's the
5.
Jackson
the
5.
new Jackson 5.
Jackson 5 reinvent it.
They could probably get Bubbles, the monkey.
I got to tell you, Steven Jackson wouldn't do it.
He would never do it.
No. But he's the only one you'd lose. You'd have to get a new Jackson in there.
All he does.
Lamar
Jackson would be great, but all he does, Lamar Jackson right after he's been concussed.
Right.
Like, just like for the 3 hours after a horrible hit.
You sucker him in with a contract.
Right.
He's like, I think, what is this for? And they're like, it's for health and well-being.
You got it. You're on it. No, I think Steven Jackson, all he does in every show is it's a little video of him being like, take your name out my mouth. Take my name out your mouth.
Take my
Don't-
name out your
take
mouth.
Take my name out your mouth. And that's his contribution
Certain
to the show.
athletes are able to transition between being like aggressive and angry on the court and then being very sweet and soft and subtle. And it's funny to watch how some guys can turn that on and turn that off.
Yeah.
Of like, oh no, I'm like a nice, cool guy and I'm like a family guy and all that stuff. But like, I'll also kick your teeth into your throat.
So I would argue that Barkley is one of those guys.
Same. Yeah, he's that guy.
But that's the difference is that Barkley enjoyed all the success after the game.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson has not.
Right.
And probably will not.
Maybe not. No.
Steven Jackson is like Latrell Sprewell. Remember when Latrell Sprewell bought like a yacht for up in Wisconsin?
Yes.
And you're like, I don't know how much yachting you're going to be doing.
Yeah. It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea to put that out there.
Do you think it's weird that Latrell Sprewell got associated with rims and like Sprewell spinners and that became like a part of culture, even though he had almost nothing to do with them?
No, but he should have been like he should have made like new Heimlich maneuver posters.
Oh.
You know, because his most famous move was to choke a guy who looked very much like you
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah.
Could you play PJ Carlissimo in the PJ Carlissimo
I could
story?
be. I'd probably a little bit closer to the White Mamba. I'd be closer to the White Mamba.
to Scalabrini.
Scalabrini. I'd be closer
You
to
would-
him than anything else.
But here's the thing, and this is what I love about you, and this is what I'm not. Let me say, I have trust in your acting chops that you can pull off another accent. You sitting in the Chicago accent, going deep into it,
Yeah.
for me is my like favorite thing.
that
in the
would be
world.
right. You're right.
When I feel that in your act, when I feel you just when a word kind of goes way Chicago for me,
I do sometimes. Yeah.
I love
I lose it. I lose it if I'm getting very emotional. But do you guys have hate for Chicago because you're St. Louis kids?
No, it's almost like you feel bad for them for so long, because of the
You feel bad for us?
I did.
You're from Missouri and you feel bad for us.
Look, I did. We had a lot of friends from Chicago. We're Cardinals fans.
It's the best city in the world, though, Chicago, and you know
Chicago's
it.
the best.
St. Louis is nice. I've never had any beef with St. Louis because of the sports rivalry, but the city itself, I enjoy.
St. Louis is a great place to be from, and that is not a knock on St.
Yes,
Louis.
it is.
No, it isn't.
You know it is.
No, it isn't.
You know St. Louis people are listening being like, what does that mean? I
Whoa,
still
what
live
the
here.
fuck, man. I will say that my kids love St. Louis so much. It is like a kid heaven to go back there.
Yeah.
My mom is still there. Our mom is there. She has a life there, even though she's had 2 strokes. She's surviving.
2 strokes.
2 strokes. A horrible second
Did
stroke.
it debilitate her in any way other than...
In language only. In her ability to, it's like the printer cord's not connected from the computer to the printer.
That's
So-
fine. You just need to reconnect.
Right. So sometimes it may never happen. Sometimes she wants to say something and the wrong word comes out and you have to try to guess what she's meaning at. But she knows what she means. And she can just live her life. She knows what she needs to do. If she doesn't have to talk to someone, she knows how to drive the store. She knows how
Sure.
to live. So she can take care of herself. And she is always, to me, associated with this benevolent St. Louis. So I love St. Louis. I love going back there. The cool thing about St. Louis is if you make it at any capacity, the city embraces you.
Pride.
The pride. I mean, look, you've had tremendous success. There are massive Chicago people.
No one gives a shit
Get
about
behind
me in
Oprah.
Chicago.
Get behind Obama. I think Obama.
I'm
is
30 steps behind Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn,
And
Eddie Vedder.
Piven has this connection to it, but
because of the theater.
his mom in the theater, yeah.
And then everyone from Second City, and then
I'm done.
You're
Even
done.
people that weren't from Chicago
who came there to be successful.
Yeah, like Will Ferrell has this connection to Chicago because of the Harry Carey thing.
Right.
People in Chicago kind of associate him as one of our own.
He's
from
LA
here.
guy.
Yeah, he's from
He's a
here.
Groundlings guy.
I know, it's so weird, but they just because of the nature of those relationships. I mean, even Triumph. Why can't I think of his name?
Smigel.
Smigel. Yeah, Smigel is inherently this Chicago guy, but I think he's from New York, right?
Yeah, he's not from there.
No, but people in Chicago love him. Like he's a
So
I'm never gonna get noticed. Okay.
So that's what we're saying. Like if you,
I'm never gonna matter.
you're not gonna. You could matter. Of all people,
I'll never throw out a first pitch at a Cubs game, but I will at the Kane County Cougars game. I'm sure I'll be able to do that.
We've thrown out the first pitch at a Cardinals game.
No, I can throw out a first pitch at the
course
Cubs
you
game,
can.
but it's so funny.
should.
I told my team I didn't want to do it. I want to sing the stretch. That's the goal.
In Chicago, that is the highest.
Well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get to the point when I can sing the seventh inning stretch. Then I will feel like I've done something with my life.
That is a rival. I mean, for us, it was throwing out the first pitch. For us, it's two things. One, throwing out the first pitch at a Cardinals game, which we did. Randy tried to drop down and throw sidearm.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up throwing it so far left, he brushed back Rachel Maddow. So I threw a strike. It was on Jose Oquendo bobblehead night because we tried to get it.
Jose Oquendo, the greatest utility player of all time.
We tried to get him into the Hall of Fame on our ESPN special. We did a whole special.
But I will say you did a strike, but it was a little inside. It was just a little
inside baseball.
A little inside,
I
little
threw a
inside
hook.
baseball.
I threw a curve.
You threw a curve.
We threw out the first pitch in Cleveland. Also, we were asked to do it at the Cleveland game because we were in town.
Because there were not enough people at the stadium.
There were. Yeah, they literally like, can you play left field too? This is a few years ago, and so we threw out the first pitch, and I did that thing where this is when this was still legal, where I faked like I was going to third before I threw the pitch, and then turned around like I was going to throw back to first.
Love
and
that.
Fooled everyone. And there's a YouTube video that you can see of this, and you can hear from where they took the video. You hear a guy going, "Throw the ball!" I'm like, "Why do you have a New York accent in Cleveland?" And I come back up to the booth where we are with the Cleveland Indians booth, and someone's like, "Hey, that guy over there was like yelling, 'Throw the ball' during your pitch."
Right.
So I went over to him like, "Hey, buddy, I'm not a confrontational guy."
No.
I said, "Hey, man, why are you yelling, throw the ball?" He's like, "'Cause you're messing around." I'm like, "Where do you have to be? You're like 38 minutes early to a Cleveland Indians game.
Yeah.
In August or
Right.
September, your team is mathematically eliminated.
Yep.
You're in a booth. You're in a box. What do you care if I do a gag on the mound?
What's the bit, bud?
How dare you yell that?"
He's like, I have 3 hours and 27 minutes. That's all I'm allowed to be here for. And you're
Then they
messing up
subbed me
my
out
time.
for one of the Olsen twins. I can only work 4 hours at a game.
You guys have done a ton of stuff in your career. Tell me what you have hated the most. You guys have done a lot of stuff. There's got to be stuff that you have disliked the most.
Because
Because I can tell you a lot of stuff.
please
you guys
tell me
have
all
done.
the things you hated. That
No.
we've done.
But tell me what you guys have not liked.
We did a show. We did a show many, many years ago. We just hated the execution of it, and it also just was the function of where it was. We hosted a show on ABC. This was a thing. It was Carsey Warner, which I love those guys. They did Roseanne.
Sure.
They did a bunch of other great shows. The old Roseanne before she went off the
The
rails.
original Roseanne.
And they've done a bunch of other shows. Maybe they did the Cosby Show. Jesus Christ, they're associated with so many.
They're hit makers.
Winners. And so they did the show. We started coming into audition for it, and it was just goofing on clips off the internet. Now this is like 2000. Okay,
It's like Tosh almost,
pre-Tosh by like 8 years,
but similar format.
Format,
Sure.
kind of. But on ABC at 7 p.m. Now they were also doing America's Funniest Home Videos.
I was just gonna say that's ABC. That's America's Funniest Home Video. Songs,
right?
right?
So we start, they're throwing some things. This is before we even did cheap seats too.
Huh.
So we were like riffing on it, and we just kept coming into audition, and there would be like this hosty guy, like I think Seacrest came in on it, and like other people were going in on it. These like good-looking hosty people and like a modelly woman were going in and doing it, and then me and Randy would go in.
And they said, "Give us 2 Mel Brooks lookalikes.
Give us 2 ugly Jews," and we were like, so we go out there and we just kept making jokes, and we kept getting further in this audition process, and we're like, "What is this show?" And honestly, if it's America's Funniest Home Videos for the internet, we don't want to do it. And we just kept advancing to the point where then we get the job. And then it's like, okay, so how are we going to be able to do what we want to do at this time slot on this channel in this moment? And of course we couldn't. Everyone was hamstrung and tied, and we couldn't do the things we wanted to do. And the show came out on a Friday. We shot 4 of them. They paid us for 13 of them. God bless them.
That's amazing.
Good agents.
Thanks, ABC.
And then on a Friday, canceled on Monday.
That's great.
And it was great. We didn't have to. So it was a blip on the screen. But then we were doing we did voices on the Oblongs, which was a great show, animated show. With Will Ferrell was on the show, Pam Siegel on the show. Great people. Billy West on the show. Awesome show. And it came out like 6 months after this one. And we were sitting on stage with all these people at the TCAs. I'm sure you've been to the TCAs, Television Critic Association. And you got Will Ferrell on stage. You got like these and he was on SNL at the time, and like huge. And you got 2 different critics raise their hand. And they're like, "Why did you guys do that horrible show .comedy, which is a terrible name.
That was the name of it?
Yeah.
Why
would you do that show? And then someone else was like, yeah, what was they let me piggyback on that guy's like mean question. And we literally stood up and we're like, hey, do you know Will Ferrell's on stage?
Why do you care about our .comedy show?
I'm so curious to hear what he has to say about something else. And so we shut it down. But it was like, man, why do we do it? Because I need money. Because I'm a performer who wants to. I don't know what to tell you.
I talked to my friend about this very subject last night. Yeah, we're artists in if whatever version of that you want to say, but like we also want to like survive and live. There's this weird thing that's like, why would you do something that didn't turn out the right way? It's like, what? Isn't that the crux of our entire lives as people? We're all doing stuff that doesn't really turn out or work out the way we planned or intended. Right. And we also want to get paid to do some of those things.
And also, you don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, you have no idea what it's going to be.
Until you start doing it, until it gets put together, until restrictions come down, until people start meddling with it or they don't.
Right.
Everyone goes into everything with great intentions, and you realize what a miracle it is to ever be on anything ever. It is. It's a miracle.
You hit the lottery.
You hit the lottery. That's why we feel so lucky. We're in the only business that I know where we're just begging to work.
Yeah.
Please, I want to work.
Yeah, everyone else is like, I can't wait to get home.
Right.
The song "Working for the Weekend" is like the antithesis of a comic's career. You're
I want to work the rest of my life.
I'm working at the weekend.
I want to working at the weekend.
Yeah, I want to work at the weekend.
That's right.
Tell me the nickname or phrase that you call your brother that he doesn't know behind his back to either your family or your friends.
Oh, jeez.
What's the thing that you say that he doesn't know, and he's never going to hear this or even know about this? But what's the thing?
I don't even know if I have a derogatory.
You have something very rude that you call him that we've all heard. There's a couple of Reddits about it.
I think he's just so shallow.
Shallow is the word.
Yeah, shallow end. Kiddie pool, I think I call him.
The kiddie pool is that's the thread. The Reddit thread is the kiddie pool.
Kiddie pool. He's real interested in like appearances, and he doesn't go too deep. So
do you reel him back because he is one of those guys who is super materialistic? He's very into flashiness.
Yeah.
At one time at the store, I think he was wearing 2 Rolexes on each wrist.
2 Rollies.
And you said, dude, you got to take them off. We're going on stage.
Right.
And I saw you guys get into an argument.
We did, and then our cousin nearby said, "Put that in the act."
Put that in the act.
I was like,
In here, we pour whiskey.
Summer is in full effect, and you got to keep yourself clean, ladies and gentlemen, top to bottom, head to toe, inside and out. Manscaped is the company that's going to help you do it. I've talked about Manscaped before. I love almost every product they've ever given to me. I've yet to find a hole in their system of something I don't like. And now that the summertime is coming at you, they've actually just released their Shears 2.0 nail kit. It's the addition to the lawnmower package. It's a 4-piece luxury nail kit. Tweezers, point scissors, fingernail clippers, and a grit nail file. Keep those fingernails nice and clean, okay? Ladies don't like scummy troll hands. They don't. They don't like scummy troll hands. Anytime I've ever shown a lady my hands, They don't go, ew, gross. They go, oh, you manscape everything. I manscape head to toe. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower, the waterproof cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulas to keep you fresh in your downstairs, because we've all nicked our nuts. I bled out in the shower when I was in junior high, and I intend to never do that again because I was bicking my balls, baby. Don't do that no more. Go get yourself a nice, beautiful trimmer from Manscaped. The Crop Reviver is in there. The Testy Toner gives you some pep in your step, keeps your sack relaxed, baby. A limited time, our subscribers get 2 free gifts, a Shed travel bag and the High Performance Reduced Chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. 20% off, dude. Free shipping with the code WHISKEY20 at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor. Use the right tools for your tool. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code WHISKEY20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use that promo code WHISKEY20. Summer's here. Time to manscape. Clean up your life. Whiskey Ginger fans, if you like drinking like I do, Papa likes his sauce. We've talked about it. I'm not ashamed of it, okay? I like to party. And I also like to stay healthy the next day. That's why I try to clean up my body by hydrating the next day and replenishing it. You need to do yourself a favor and try this out. Go get DHM Detox. It is incredible. It's a vitamin supplement for people who like to enjoy alcohol. It's time to take care of your body the right way. Whether you have a few drinks or you're a heavy drinker like Papa, you can enjoy drinks without a brain fog and anxiety and all that toxic nonsense that's in your body. Take 2 capsules after your first couple of drinks, and it's going to release all these vitamins. They're going to clean out those toxins so you don't have that disgusting, annoying hangover where you're chugging Gatorade water, pizza, Gatorade water, nap. You don't need that. Take DHM Detox, and it does fix it. It's actually extremely effective, even for someone like me who likes to slurp the sauce. It's risk-free purchase. If you don't like it, just email them. They're going to give your money back. So what more do you need to know that a product works? Go to nodayswastedco.com, nodayswastedco.com, if you want to learn more about it. It is great. It's an all-natural supplement. It's all good. It's all good. You're not getting something unknown from the world. It's great vitamins that revitalize the body if you like to have a couple of drinks. We got 20% off your order. Head over to nodayswastedco.com. Use the promo code WHISKEY at checkout. That's nodayswastedco.com. It's right there. If you have any questions, send a message to DHM Detox on Instagram. They'll answer it for you.
Ginger. I like gingers.
The biggest problem that you have with your brother, as you've said to me many, many times, is that he tries to kind of steal the show or upstage you or frontline you. Mm-hmm. And why do you think that is? Is it he's insecure?
Total insecurity.
Yeah.
It's like if you can stand back and be like, I got the punchline, I'm ready to go. I can actually deliver this and knock it out of the park. There's a quiet confidence that you have. It's like the first person who steps up and talks. It's like the first person who needs to say something in an interview.
Who's a better writer? Because we did a fan poll. You can look right here. There's a fan poll right there.
And what do they say?
It's you.
Jesus.
And it's overloaded by how many people said that you were funnier. I mean, it's just
a
better writer, I should say. I'm sorry.
Better writer, better performer.
Sure, that's part of it.
I think we do, in all honesty, I think we do different things better. I think we do, like, there's a physicality to what I think I do on stage. It's very subtle, but there is a more of a physicality and more of a cerebral nature to what he does. That is fine. I mean, but I'm happy to go out a little bit further on a limb and make myself look stupid.
Be honest with me.
Sure.
Do you think you're better looking
than him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
I mean,
do you think
people say it all the time.
That you're
You're so much hotter than your brother. I'm like, wow, that's listen.
Yeah.
I'm only going off the confidence of other people.
Yeah, what people have instilled.
Do you understand
in you.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like an internal thing. And it's like do you know the actor Stephen Tobolowsky?
No.
Great actor. Ned Ryerson.
Needle Nose Ned.
And he's been in everything.
Yes, I love him.
Great guy. We're fortunate enough to do a movie with him years ago and spent a lot of time with him, like 7 weeks on this film.
Right.
And
alive still?
Yeah. He's amazing. But he's fascinating. He's an interesting, wonderful person. But he talked about getting like clairvoyant messages sent to him and being able to read people based on the tone of their voice. It was like a fascinating and interesting thing.
Wow.
And the thing he said, and this is the thing that a lot of people who are mediums say, they're like, I don't want this power. So it'd be like if you were walking down the street and you started to hear like dead people talk. You're like, I don't fucking want this.
Right.
You think I want to hear dead people talk? I don't want to hear dead people talk. And instead it like goes through that. To me, the reluctant, it's like always the person who's like, hey, I love this. You got to be wary of that
They're
person.
sick in the head.
It's the person who's like, listen, I just want to be a butcher. I don't want to talk to the dead. You know what I mean? I just want to do my job.
But you're just better at cutting the meat.
That's right.
That's just how
right.
that's just what it is. You
That's
just
right.
know how to slice the meat
I know
much
how
better.
to slice it. I know how to give you a lean slice if you
All right, we
ask
were
for it.
talking for a second ago before we were on camera officially that you're a hybrid guy, and I've talked about the reason that you're trying to say that you're going to prove me wrong.
I'm
the
an
fact that
electric guy.
Car guys, you'll never get to flip to full electric. Why?
So I don't understand why. I think you haven't spent enough time with electric vehicles. Now, it is true. You cannot drive your wicked, Pontiac Grand Am or whatever
Sure.
you're driving. Your Trans
What
Am.
year are you from? Did you
Your
just fall out of a
Trans Am.
time hole?
Yeah, I did. I just
You
fell out of
can't
it.
drive your Thunderbird.
you
up
can't
to the,
drive
up
your-
to the Dairy Queen.
And if you're a woman, you can't drive your white Celica convertible. No, you can't drive your electric car across country. Yes, there are Tesla stations where you can plot it out,
Right.
and actually they'll tell you on your giant
I've seen it,
computer
yeah.
screen. Okay, 50 miles, you stop off here and you charge up in it. But that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because you got to charge for 2 hours.
or an hour. If there's a supercharge, you can.
I've done it.
You've done it. So
I
you charge-
traveled around in a Tesla, and I had to wait, and then I ended up
This
eating
is a
McDonald's
problem.
a lot.
So this is a problem for traveling and whatnot. And I would say rent a car if you're going to do a long car trip
Sure.
or rent a van or something like that. But if you're driving around in the city, it is. I drive a Chevy Bolt. It's small.
Yeah.
It is so fucking fast. Like I zip around people.
It's a little
I can-
go-kart.
I can anger drive in a Bolt, and then people see you, and they see that you're driving an electric car, and they can't get mad at you. Like I cut someone off, and they want to throw their drink at you, and then they're like, "Oh, thanks for."
But
thanks
when
for
I
saving
cut
me
somebody
money."
off, they want to come hit me. And
Yeah,
hurt
they're like,
me.
you cut me off, and you fucking killed the environment.
Yeah.
But I just think you just like the rev of the engine, is what you were saying.
Well, like the feel, right? There's a couple of cars right now. Porsche has a new all-electric vehicle that's
Yeah.
their newest sport Porsche, and it has an engine function where it emulates the sound and feel
so
of an engine.
yeah, it's like a sex doll. You're like,
Yeah, it's gross.
It's not the same.
I want
thing.
the real thing.
You-
Yeah.
You want the real.
That's my point. Is like, why
So
are we even
okay,
playing
so
the
then
game?
all right. So let me ask you this.
And by the way, I have a sex doll in my engine car.
That's
she
right.
stays in the front seat.
It comes standard. This comes standard. Would you like the sex doll in the front or the
We're
back?
giving you the small dick sex doll, pal. It only goes in an inch and a half.
So if you have to have the engine, are you? So what if your wife said, "I'm getting fake tits for you"?
Okay.
Would you be like, "Great," or would you be like, "No"?
Well, the
there's
first
some
thing,
guys-
the first thing I would say is how much, because I'm paying for them.
True.
Right. So I'd
That's
go,
not
how much?
good. How much are we getting them for?
Are we getting a discount? Are these done in Mexico?
Hang on a
Are we
second.
going
Let
to
me
Tijuana?
let me see what things we're not getting because
Yeah,
of this.
because of the fake tits.
Yeah.
I'll have to explain that to my family and friends. If my wife said, I want to get fake boobs,
Would you say no? I like the real ones. I just like.
probably, yeah, honestly, yeah, I would.
Yeah, I can't. To me, fake boobs. That's what you were saying about the sex doll. It's like, yes, that looks like a woman. Yes, it maybe looks like the most beautiful woman that they could ever construct. But it's not real.
So that's
Just like these two things that are hanging down.
that's why I like the real engine.
real engine.
I can't have the fake engine, but I do think there is a lot of value in the idea of electric. I do think it should be the future as long as the government can subsidize
feeling
it.
you get, and the government does subsidize it.
Yeah, but
Dude,
it has to be bigger. It has to be so.
Are you
available
joking?
to people who can't really
It
afford
is, dude.
How?
I'm telling you, I got like a $2,500 rebate on this
How
car.
does a guy who makes less than 20 grand a year afford that car?
Easily, you lease it because whatever you put down, let's
They
say
have
you
no
put,
credit, and they have nothing
Well,
to
if
put
you
down.
have no credit, that's your fault.
Hey,
You should have better fucking credit. No, but the idea,
you don't care about the people. You're
Get
not a man
better
of the
credit.
people.
It's-
No, I think
This is
if it was
actually
available.
this is a TransUnion intervention. I'm
what
here to
this is
talk to you
about.
about your credit.
We're here to talk. Do you have enough insurance at home? That's what we're selling right now. I do at some point understand.
That's
it's
what I would say to
probably
young
better.
people, though. You have good credit because that is the doorway.
Well, don't get
into
9
some-
credit cards and buy stuff in college.
Exactly.
But predatory loans should be eliminated. This is a government conversation.
This
now.
is like way too deep. But I will say this: every time I drive past a gas station in my electric car, I'm like, "Fuck you!" It
Yeah.
feels so good. It feels so good to be like, you feel like you've just weaned yourself
beat it.
off of something. Right? That's right.
Well, I mean, I feel that way about Arcos. I just won't stop at an Arco because those are my only gas
Because you
stations.
hate it. Because you hate anything that's
Oh, I
you
fu- I-
hate
I-
anything that's directed by Ben
I
Affleck.
fucking hate I hate Arco. You know why? And everybody that drives a gas car
Let's hear it.
understands.
Let's hear it.
Arco charges you for you if you put in a debit card, which I don't. I only use
a
credit.
bait and switch.
Yes, and they're less up at the price tag, but at the pump you have to pay 45 cents for the use of a card. It's disgusting. And I out of
They
principle,
get you. They're like, oh wow, this is
out of principle,
309. That's what, I haven't seen 309 in a long time. And then boom, you put the card in.
I was
like,
hoping some of the protests for George Floyd were going to make their way to Arcos and set those things on fire.
Well, hang on a second.
I was hoping.
I don't know if we
I was
can
like, blow
conflate
up some gas stations.
I don't know if
Go
we
to
can
Arcos.
Conflate those two.
No,
things.
I can. I
Okay,
can.
all right, fine.
They're mad at corporations. Arco is bullshit. Blow them the fuck up.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
I'm not saying we should. I didn't ask your brother this because I know the answer.
Sure.
Who has the better family?
My family's pretty great. I have an all-star family.
But he's got a great family.
He's got a great family. I love his family. I love his kids. His 6-year-old who's going to be 7. She's rounding into form, starting to show some she made some rookie mistakes.
Rounding into form, but it sounds like her bones weren't connected for years.
Yeah, and she's just,
She was just a sludge
she made some rookie errors, and then you start to realize, okay, hey, you have to start carrying the bags for your older brother. You're the rookie here. Like you can't be demanding stuff all the time.
That makes sense.
She's losing teeth. She's starting to gain a good sense of humor. She's good. I have people in my house. I've got a 15-year-old daughter who I'm going to start to teach her how to drive soon.
Wow.
And I have an almost 13-year-old daughter.
You also have a 40-year-old kid that you don't talk about ever.
Right. We should really cut that out.
We won't cut it out because I want to talk about it.
I do not want to give.
You have a 40-year-old son.
Yeah.
Who lives
He's a chef
in Saskatchewan.
He's a chef
in Saskatchewan in Canada.
He's a chef, and he is. I mean, I say chef loosely. He works at
He's a cook. He's a line cook.
He's at a Golden Corral.
Right.
He's the one who sets up the Chocolate Wonderful.
He does?
Yeah.
That might be chef status.
I mean,
they don't let anybody just do that.
Do you feel bad that we in this time, one of the things I think we miss more than anything by going to restaurants is when someone were to bring out a baked Alaska, which is the dessert you light on fire.
Baked Alaska.
And people who are not receiving this, other people start to clap.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Applause from other tables.
Woo, woo, woo. You get excited about
over
it.
a dessert that you're not going to eat.
But they're excited for your happiness, doesn't that? Isn't that the united?
Guess.
Isn't that what we need as people again?
So when I first saw,
Yeah.
I saw the second Pirates of the, and this is going to determine how much I like you as a human being, Caribbean or Caribbean.
First of all, it's the Caribbean.
Thank you very much.
Why do we even pretend that it's
Pirates of the Caribbean? And I saw the second movie in Long Island. I was with my wife and her family out in Long Island, and we go to a movie theater in Long Island on the Friday night that it drops. So this is the premiere weekend and the first movie was such a huge success. So something happened in that movie theater that made me instantly hate everybody and love the situation that I was in. So movie starts, first 5 minutes or so, whatever. Johnny Depp's character, Jack Sparrow, comes on screen in a movie theater in Long Island. People fucking clap.
Sure they do.
I'm like, for who?
Jack Sparrow, dude.
But for who?
Jack Sparrow.
He's not there.
He can feel it in his heart.
He's not there.
I felt it in my heart when you clapped for me in Long
He's
Island.
not there.
He felt it.
Why? Why do this? To me, this was the dumbest thing I've ever
Sure.
seen. It was like when we were kids, we went to the St. Louis Muni Opera. We had tickets to go see plays there. We saw Annie Get Your Gun. And
That's
with
great.
Florence Henderson, the great Flo Hay.
Wow.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah.
And the dog from Empty Nest.
Okay.
The dog who played the dog in Empty Nest played the dog in this thing. And I remember the dog came out on stage.
People lost it.
People clapped. This dog doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He does not.
He can feel that.
I have a dog, and I'm telling you, he does not.
They deserve the clap.
If you clap at a dog, they think they're doing something wrong.
Right.
The dog was looking around what did I do? Where did I go? Did I not hit my mark?
Maybe he
Stop
didn't.
clapping.
Maybe he needs to be corrected.
Everyone was
Are
clapping.
you a
and
clap or
everything.
a whistle guy after the singing of the national anthem at a sporting event?
Well,
I was
first of
very
all-
stoned at a Laker game one time, and I realized I am a whistle guy.
Yeah.
Many people after the national clap, and I go like this. I'm
Yeah.
that guy. Are you a
first of
whistle
all,
guy?
Well, after I get up from kneeling,
Okay, that's right.
by
That's
the way,
right.
when the whole kneeling started 3 years ago, my youngest daughter, who does competitive gymnastics, we were out in Camarillo. So this is an area where some people were definitely not on board with
Go
what
ahead and say
Kaepernick.
it. Yeah.
They weren't on board with what Kaepernick was doing.
Yeah, they were very against it.
And to my wife's chagrin, and to most of the other parents on the team's chagrin, during the national anthem. And by the way, this woman, the meet before where this took place, the woman who owned the gym yelled at my friend's daughter because she wasn't paying attention during the national anthem. So I was like, I want this bitch to come my way.
Yeah, that's insane.
I kneeled and held up a Black Power fist during the national anthem at my
Shut up.
daughter's gym. Yeah, I was
That's
like,
hilarious.
I was like, fucking bring it to me.
on.
Bring it to me, you pirate dressed looking motherfucker. I will take you out.
By the way, any kid, if you ever played sports as a kid, no one paid attention. You're off into space. You're thinking about the
Nobody
game.
pays attention anyway.
Yeah.
We had season tickets to the football Cardinals, the worst team ever in the late 70s and 80s. 5-11, 6-10, 4-12.
Tragic.
This was our years every year because
Yeah.
we were against the Tony Dorsett, Roger Staubach, Danny White, Billy Joe Dupree, Drew Hill, those Cowboys, the Ron Jaworski, Wilbur Montgomery, Harold Carmichael, those Eagles were on our division, and the Joe Theismann, those guys.
That's insane.
So we were always the worst team. And the
Yeah.
Giants, we were the Phil Simms Giants. We were the worst team. And we would never show up for the national anthem. Like, guys were out drinking, buying beer. Like,
Yeah.
no one cares about it.
Right. It's the whole thing is
dumbest fucking
well,
thing
the
ever.
idea that it can be disrespected is a very funny idea inherently. That like
You got to respect it first.
Right.
Like, you can't not respect it for years and years and then say it's disrespected.
well, that's the same thing as like they sell these rules is like, oh, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Yeah, one of the rules of the flag is that you're not supposed to adorn it on clothing or wear. Budweiser sells cans of beer with American flags on them. Women wear bikinis with their. It's like, don't pretend like this noble thing to everybody. Maybe to people that fight for the country, they may have a different viewpoint on it, right?
Hey, by the way, and if you want to stand up and sing, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to say, don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, great.
Go for it.
Dude,
Knock it
Drew
out.
Brees, if this makes you think of your grandfather, great. Awesome. Go for it. Guess
Yeah.
what? I'm going to tell you something right now. I support you. That's what this country is all about. I
Right.
support your viewpoint. You can't support mine, then you're the fucking asshole. To me, the national anthem is like that shirt that your friend like jerked off on in college.
Still have that
and
shirt.
it's on the floor. It basically is standing up in a position that a shirt should not stand in because it's that stiff. And then someone walks through and steps on it inadvertently, and your friend who's been jerking on is like, whoa, hey.
Step on my J
Hey,
shirt.
hey.
What are you, nuts?
You know?
That's mine.
I got to jerk off on that later.
I told a joke about it on stage that I've since kind of put to bed, even though we haven't done stand-up in a long time, about I was wishing that there could be a union of athletes in the NFL that decided that they were all going to not just take a knee, but just not play or sit out a season.
Yeah.
And I would say, what game would we have left? Do you think ESPN's going to air that on Monday night? You know,
We call that the USFL, the XFL, and
couple
watch
quarterbacks
it
and kickers
I
and the
mean-
fucking place. No, I think the idea that people
You
aren't
need
allowed to do
players.
what they want is really interesting to me. Isn't this the most free country in the world?
Don't you love? That's truthfully what I love about this country. Okay, so I saw a couple days ago that people were marching in Russia, thousands and thousands of people, because they were disputing.
That's ordered, by the way. That's government
No,
ordered.
they were disputing an election at some point.
Oh, really?
And part of me was, the first thought was, all these people are going to die.
Yeah.
Like, see you later.
That's true.
But the second part of me is like, great. This is what's great about the world. This is what people really want.
Right.
They want to be able to say and do the things that they feel.
Right.
And so, like, that's why our country is great. If you can't take that away from people.
No, that's true. I think that's the beauty is you're allowed. We just need to get back to a place when we're both allowed to think differently but still get along.
Yeah.
I've said this to a friend the other night. My parents and their best friends, who are also my family, their son is my best friend.
Yeah.
They all have very differing views on politics, yet we still get along very well because life can still continue when we don't agree on everything, you know?
Yeah,
It
because
doesn't need to be one note. That's my problem with our generation now is if you don't think like me, then I'm going to fucking kill you. It's like, no, dude, we have to be able to have some sort of discourse and balance because otherwise it's going to be a continual pendulum this way, pendulum that way, pendulum this way, pendulum that way.
I enjoy people who come from a different perspective as long as it's not from too far out.
Sure.
As long as it's like within like a reasonable area. Like, I can't deal with it out here, just like I'm on this side and I can't deal with some things way out here.
Sure, I don't like any extremes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but if it's coming from in here, yeah, of course I'll.
But you
listen to
are
it.
part of Alex Jones. You're the leader of his fan page.
I start every conspiracy about Alex Jones and Glenn Beck. This is the thing I say about Glenn Beck. And he cries a lot.
A lot.
Every time Glenn Beck cries, a mosquito gets its wings. That's the truth. That's the truth.
phrase?
It's the truth.
But you guys contradict yourself all the time, even in your own family, right? Like you typically will wave a Trump flag, and your brother is a big Biden fan, and then
Yeah.
you switch week to
hard.
week.
We do it to just change it up on people. No, I'm actually like a huge. I just wave like a huge Pence. So Mike Pence.
That's funny. I'm a Pence. You
just
go.
love
You don't
his-
like Trump, but you love Pence.
I just love his. I just love his politics on being able.
Well,
so,
you can't be alone in a room with a woman. That's the funniest thing I've ever
I
heard.
just
in my
love that he
entire
calls
life.
his wife mommy.
You don't call your wife mommy? No. What do you
And
call her? By her
she's
name?
She's the mom of my kid. There are times when my kids are around, and I was like, "Go tell mommy," and then I feel so weird about,
Because if it makes you feel gross to say the word mommy.
because I don't feel that way about my own mom. That it like sexualizes a mother in a weird.
Did
sort
you
of way.
guys call your mom and dad mommy and daddy?
Mom and dad. Mom and dad.
So did I.
Mom and dad.
And I don't have kids yet, but we've both been adamant about this. And I know you have little control at some point, but it's
Yeah.
going to be mom to us
Yeah.
and pop. No daddy.
So my kids sometimes call me Papa, which I love.
Love.
I love it.
Papa's great.
And I didn't ever even like said this is what it's got to be. But sometimes when they want to ask me something, they were like, "Papa, can I?" And I'm like, "I love it. I love it."
You can
And
do whatever you want.
I just like that they still talk to me at 13 and 15. But
They say,
'cause
Papa, can I burn down an Arco? And you're like, that's what
I'm like,
Santino would have
that's
wanted.
That May Santino, rest in peace. He's not dead. I just want him to get a good night's sleep. But I was saying about Mike Pence is we were doing Bloomington. We were doing flying to Indianapolis and then driving down to Bloomington to do the Comedy Attic, which I know you've done. Which have you done that?
Never.
It's amazing.
I've missed an opportunity to do it one time. That was my sad thing.
When if it reopens,
It will.
And I'm going to say this to everyone who's listening to this or watching this
Mm-hmm.
out there. Our friend who runs the North Bar in Chicago. I don't know if you've ever done that, but our buddy Jim Weber, great small independent venue.
Right.
So NEVO, which is the National Independent Venue Association, saveourstages.com. If you are a comedy fan and you love going to see comedy in independent, there's so many independent
Go to
rooms.
that.
Go to that. Do whatever they ask you to do. Call your congressperson. Support it because there is a bill in Congress that is supposed to send relief out to these places so that they can stay open during this whole time.
Wow.
That I say do that. So, and I feel that a place like the Comedy Attic, it's independently owned by Jared. It's a fantastic venue, and I don't want to see it close because it's so good. And this
Yeah.
guy's such a good dude. So we're there and we landed in Indianapolis and then we're sitting on the tarmac. So we've flown from LA to Indianapolis, woke up super early in the morning on a Thursday because you got the show that night. You're like, and we're just sitting on the tarmac for an hour. We're like, we're going to be late. We're like, why? What's going on? And they're like, Mike Pence is on the tarmac and that's why no plane can go
You just
anywhere.
out walking around.
So we said, what's he doing? And then we were trying to think about what is he doing. And so our guess was that he saw that a plane was trying to enter a hangar from the backside, which is not the way it's supposed to go. So he went up into the air traffic control tower and tried to reprogram it to go in through the front way, the way he says God intended.
The airplane hangar should actually have drapery in the front.
The
and
way
it enters
God intended
through
it.
the drapery
The
in
way
the front.
God intended it.
God intended. God's intentions are great, by the way. They changed so dramatically over the years. I don't know why God intended for Greeks to have sex with everything that walked and was breathing. But
Because Greeks ooze sexuality.
they're hot people.
They're just even
Why did
like,
we go backwards? Why did we get more puritanistic when we used to be? There used to be we used to be like orgy central. Humans used to love orgies, and then it went
humans
away.
were like, because I feel like
Let's get back to orgies, dude.
the problem is, and this is the problem, having kids that are teenagers, there's just orgies are a collective thing. Orgies are like the 15-foot jump shot in the NBA. Yeah, people still do it occasionally, but then afterwards you're like, did I need to do that? I could have jerked off at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's this sort of like, I could have jerked off at home and then not had to worry about the third woman's thing she was asking me to lick her
Yeah,
neck.
but you're talking like a guy who hasn't had a lot of orgies.
I am not a big orgy guy.
Because let me tell you something.
I am not a...
I have lived
you
through
seen-
many orgies.
Have you seen Fahim Anwar's bit about orgies? It is so
No.
fucking good. And I want to get it right, but he just talks about he always finishes before everyone else and they're still going and he just feels out of place there and he's like wants to go into the pile and be like, does anybody know the Wi-Fi in here? Just asking questions. A cup of water.
Yeah. It's plastic or
Does
paper plates?
does the cappuccino maker work? I just wanted to Him asking questions is so funny.
I've never been a part of an orgy, but I pine to one day really be a part of something wild like that.
Would your wife ever let you just be like, all right, you have one shot to go and be a part of an orgy? She would not. Not in this day and
I'd
age.
want her there.
You want her to be a part of it.
Yeah, I want her to be a part of it.
But what if you
I mean, why not?
that's true.
We're going to die one day.
And it might be soon given everything that's going on.
And by the way, then let's get this orgy knocked out.
Let's get it done.
Guys, go to letsgetthisorgyknockedout.org.
It's right next to Save Our Stages.
We'll put both links in the description
That's right.
below.
Save Our Stages. Let's get
Let's
this orgy
get
knocked
this orgy knocked out.
And by the way, I think Let's Get This Orgy Knocked Out should be a .org.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
has to be.
Org.
Org. You've done a lot of great stuff. Your brother's done some great stuff as well,
He's done amazing stuff.
arguably.
Yeah. Well,
Your least favorite thing that you've ever done?
the least favorite thing that we've ever done.
Or let's be real. If you're going to be honest, what's a thing that you know wasn't good that you did? You know it was bad.
I mean, this maybe is the thing for us is that I'll say this. I'll put it on this because we evolve as comedians
Of course,
throughout
yeah.
time. I would say our early stand-up, we just found like old clips of the very first times of us doing stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
So the very first time we did it, we were 14 years old.
What?
Stood on stage at a talent show in our high school, and we were mimicking what we thought was comedy, but we were both on stage. So there were the beginnings of what exists. Like there was no question as to whether or not we'd both be on stage. We never even said, well, should I go and then you go, or
Right.
what are we going to do here? No, it was like, we want to do comedy. And by the way, that was at a time when there were no teams.
Yeah.
There kind of were a lot of teams in the 60s and then nobody in the 70s.
Or the 80s, really?
Or the 80s. So you're talking 86, and we get on stage and we steal a lot of material because that's what you did when you were kids. You just recite the material.
Right.
And then
Do you want to apologize for that right now, by the way?
I feel terrible about stealing the material. But then we wrote some of but we were young and we weren't doing it for money. And I was like, we needed to learn that lesson. And so we learned. That's one of the lessons you learn. You can't steal material. It's got to be all original. And then the other thing you learn is if you come up with a premise that someone else has already been doing, you got to stop.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
You got to stop doing it. If someone else is doing it, or you have a conversation with that person and say, hey, you're doing this bit, we do this bit. Can we both do this? What do you think?
Yeah, how does it work?
And seriously, what do you think? Are you uncomfortable if we do it and we do it this way? What could we change about our bit that would make it less like yours? Or do you care even? Does it matter? Really, you should never be doing a bit that's exactly like somebody else because then it's not your bit. It's like it wasn't in your voice. And so we tried to learn how to do that. But I've seen stand-up. The stand-up we did when we first moved to New York in 1994, we had an old tape of it. I mean, we were dressing alike. We were coming. I mean, this is 94.
Do you guys still have this tape?
Oh, yeah.
Can I see this footage?
Maybe I'll send it
Can
to
we
you.
show it to the audience?
I don't know.
Come on, dude.
I don't know.
Come on.
I got to find it if we can.
Well, give
get
me
it
one
to
of the
you.
worst jokes that you told.
So our jokes were just bad. They were just like observational stuff. Like they weren't even really jokes. It was the easiest thing that we could talk about. We're like, we got to talk about being twins.
Sure.
And the truth of the matter is, and you've seen us perform a number of times since that, but you've probably seen us do probably an hour and a half or 2 hours of material through all the times that you've known us. I mean, we've seen the same with you.
Yeah.
Do we ever really talk about it?
No, never really. I've never once seen you make a joke about being twins.
It's underneath what we do in a subtle way that shows that it's different than what other people are doing, but it's not the main thing.
No.
So this is what we didn't understand. We're like, we got to come right out and just be like, it's twins. We got a lot of crazy questions. People are like, if I kick him in the nuts, will he feel it? You're like, no, I'm pretty sure if you kick me in the nuts, I'm going to feel it. Which is not that good of a joke. It's a terrible
fine. It's fine. I get it.
Fine for 1994. Fine for coming off the comedy boom of the late 80s and whatnot.
Right.
But certainly not something we're proud of. So I look back at some of those early sets, and especially because we were doing it in New York. We moved straight to New York to do it.
Wow.
So you're doing it in New York in front of people like Marin and Attell and Jeff Ross and Sarah Silverman and all these great people who are doing it there.
Great people, bad comics.
Great People, Bad Comics.
Yeah, that's what and that's their special coming out.
that
Great People,
is.
Bad Comics.
So that you just are like, oh, no wonder there was like people didn't respect what we were doing for
Sure.
a long time. And it took, really for us, it took like Luna Lounge and the Monday Night Show where people are doing something really creative and different, and you couldn't do the thing that you people expected you to do on
Right.
stage. If you did that, you would get booed off the stage. You had to do something different that opened it wide up for us, and we're like, oh, this is what we can do. We can be funny the way we're funny around people, not the way we think a comedian and twin
Sure.
comedian should be. So that is the thing that I just like. It makes it cringeworthy for me.
But that you grew out of that.
We did, but
You
I mean,
have to.
still we did it, and it's
Everyone
like,
does bad shit at the beginning of their
Oh,
career.
but
You go
it
back
exists.
to anybody's. I've said this openly. When I first moved to LA, I remember coming to the store and watching Sebastian really kind of struggle to find that character that he's really found. And I watched it for a long time. Like everybody you know has had that.
Except for me, going those early days. I'm talking about because we got past the store in '99. So those early days
Mm-hmm.
of watching, of being on and watching like Dice just walk the room, and then Sebastian come on and do to like 5 people. He's doing his thing. It killed us. Like, we're like, why is this guy not getting more?
Well, he was great, but I watched him work. We watched him work it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, it became this thing that was much more.
Yeah, and then he figured it out. And then what he realized and what he became over time was someone who was doing comedy that appealed to everyone.
Yeah.
So that like me, if I'm a regular person in Chicago or St. Louis where we grew up and he's coming to town, I'm going to take my 13-year-old and my 15-year-old to the Sebastian show. So suddenly I'm not paying for 2 tickets, me and my wife, I'm paying for 4.
Smart.
And you've got everybody doing that, and he's selling out a 10,000 seat venue. And so
Madison Square Garden this time
and
now.
manages on a very good level to maintain the respect of other comedians. It's like a very hard thing to do. Regan can do that, and
Very well.
he does that, and Gaffigan does that. So it's like they don't. It's like you kind of. It's amazing. It's edgy in that it's its own clear voice,
Right.
but at the same time, it doesn't cut off all these other people to watch it.
What comic do you hate the most?
I mean,
Because we know who it is.
who do you think it is?
I mean, we've already talked about this. You mean your brother openly talked about who he hates the most as a comedian.
I don't know. Who do I want to start beef with?
Yeah, who do you have the most?
I mean, what if it's
Beef.
like the nicest person in the
I've heard many rumors. You look at this.
Yeah.
You guys used to have this long bit about how much you hated Dat Fan, and I never understood why you did it, but you did it.
I mean, our bit was longer than his career. Just kidding. I'm joking.
You fishing to be mean, and then you actually had a good joke about it.
He was the nice
You
guy.
guys
We
don't
actually
seem
met him,
like
and he was
you
a nice
hate
guy.
anybody. You guys
We
don't have
don't
any
because-
enemies.
We don't. I mean, I'm sure, and I know, I'm sure there are people who don't like us. Like we've spent.
Oh
and
my God! I'm gonna send you this
yeah,
email.
go
It's
through
all
the
these
thing.
guys that don't.
You guys are on a chain?
Yeah.
What? A discussion group.
Yeah.
So no, but there are people I'm sure who don't. First of all, don't respect us or don't like what we do, and I would say to those people, well, watch what we do or watch anything that we do, and maybe we'll win you over. And if not, then we don't. It's fine. It's like
And if they watch you and still don't like you, it's because they just don't like you.
they just don't like us.
And guess what? People aren't going to like us.
Well, that's the truth. It's like if everybody likes you, then you're not doing it right. If
Right.
a lot of people don't like you, then you're touching a nerve somewhere and you're doing something right. Like the further you
Right.
go, like I would say, keep picking at that thing because you're upsetting some people.
Sure.
You're causing people to move to a certain place of emotion, which is the worst thing that can be. Is like nobody wants anything to do with you, or they're indifferent.
And then you're a hit comic.
So ours is not to go. I mean, we did a whole bit about Dice disrespected us so badly, like I'm talking 13 years ago on stage at
Why?
the Comedy Store. He's just a dick. The truth of the story was that he
The
was
cigarette around the face guy was a dick.
he was a dick. No, but I mean, it was I don't know. We had been working at the store for like 8 years or whatever,
Yeah.
and we were after him one night, late night, and we did this. By the way, we put this whole bit in a Comedy Central special. It existed.
Oh, that's so fun.
And he basically came on stage and was like, "Who's next?" And piano player is like
Jeff is like,
Jeff's
yeah.
like Sklar Brothers, and he's like, "Who?" He's like Sklar Brothers. Well, I never heard of them, so I've never heard of them. You know they're gonna fucking suck. Meanwhile, he's like walked the whole room. This is what it is, and so we get up on stage. We're like, did he get our credits right? That's what I said. And he comes back on stage. He comes back on stage in the middle of our set, which to me is extraordinarily disrespectful.
Yeah, that's fucking rude.
Because, like, what happens if, unless you're going to say something great about the person, you know,
or unless I'm very good friends with you. Like Bobby will
Totally.
interrupt my show sometimes,
Totally.
and I know it's annoying to me,
if
but
we
in a
did
loving
it,
way.
if we did it, the three of us would do something really fun
It'd be
on
a bit.
stage together. It'd be
Yeah.
a bit. It would be great, and
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Thank you. That's what I needed to like palate cleanse what just happened." It was like a hosty thing because
Totally.
it is tag team at the store, and so that's what it is. Come back on stage. He's like, takes the microphone and says, "No, I got their opening line for you. They're gonna be like, dice open for me, dice open for me. Well, I got news for you. If I didn't do my old shit, if I did my old shit, they wouldn't be able to fucking stand on this stage. Lucky I did my new shit." And then he drops the microphone and broke it. We're like, "Hey, asshole, we need both of those. Like, we can't just do one." So we're like trying to figure out how to put. It was just, and then whatever. He walked out to his least Escalade and then into the night. But like we were just like.
We found out the comic that you hated.
So no. So I don't even hate the guy, but so let me say this. So this is great. So we're really mad on stage. We're upset. And like throughout our whole set, we're just like, what a fucking disrespectful thing to do. And by the way, we had TV credits. We were doing it. We weren't, and no offense to any door guy, because the truth of the matter is I love young comics as much as I love the older comics, because I love to see, we have good relationships with everybody throughout. The Roast Battle has done that for us. And like just being a part of things, you love the guys who work and the women who work the door as much as the people who are like the humongous headliners. I love spending time with everybody because that's what we do. That's our craft. We were established people, and he like did this to us, which really pissed us off. So so we started telling people about it, and the more pissed off we got, the more they were laughing. We're like, wait a minute, is this a bit? Yeah. So like we started talking about what the room looked like when he left it, and it looked like the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. There was like shit on the walls. People were asking for their $2,000 debit cards. We're like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? We're like, FEMA will be here. Okay, guys, relax.
We'll clean it up.
But we kept going back to what he was saying. He was like, "Hey, look, I didn't do my old shit. I didn't do my old shit." Okay, this is in like 2006, 7, 8 when this happened. I didn't do my old shit. Do my old shit. So meanwhile, he ran the light. Was supposed to do a 15-minute set and did an hour. Yeah. 45 minutes into his 15-minute set, we're checking back in the room to be like, "Is this guy off stage yet?" And we hear him go, "I mean, call waiting. What the fuck is that shit about?" We're like, in 2008? That's a new piece of material. I'm sorry. But like, and also who's mad at call waiting? So like, that's such a wonderful feature to be able to reach other people who are coming through. Like, who's angry about it? So the bit became us doing his nursery rhymes, but instead of punchlines, he would just reveal sad truths about his life. So it was us as dueling dice. Is like, "I took a job on a cruise ship. I needed the money, yo." So we did a bunch of those, and then the thing. All right. Years later, and I'll say this: years later, he was like at a festival. He was at something with our buddy Jonah Ray, and he was doing the show after Jonah.
Right. Wow, really? Those two people are on the same lineup?
Not on the same lineup, different show.
Oh, I was like, that's fucking
there was an
very
early
strange.
show, and then so Jonah was in there, and Dice was like, "Hey, how come the Sklar Brothers don't like me?" And to me, that was like, it actually made me feel good that this question has been burning in his brain or whatever.
Knows.
So he knows. But I'll say this: I saw him in A Star Is Born, and I fucking loved him. I
good.
thought he was amazing. I saw him on that show Vinyl,
didn't
on
watch that.
HBO,
Yeah.
Bobby Cannavale. I thought he was amazing. So I'm here to tell you that even though he dissed us in the biggest way, and we did that bit and we did it on Comedy Central, that's not who we are.
Right.
To like literally do that's like a public diss track that you're throwing out there. But we just explained what he did to us. I'm telling you, I fucking love the guy.
So you're even now.
I feel like him being upset that we were mad at him, to me, in some weird way, righted the universe back. But even before that story, I watched him in that movie, and I'm like, I got to give it up. This guy is fucking great. He's such a good actor.
Wow.
I was like proud of him, and in some weird fucking way, I was like, he's mine. He's ours. He's ours. Like,
you have a piece of
we
each
got a
other,
little piece of this guy, and I'm proud of him as if like maybe not as if you would have done it, but like
Right.
as if one of our people did it. It made me feel good, and I was like, God damn it, I'm really proud of him. So I don't know if he's capable of having that type of and in some weird way, I'm going to lord that over him. That I don't think he's actually emotionally capable of seeing us on Glow and being like, these guys are fucking great, or seeing us here. You know what I mean? Like I don't
No,
think
he
he
doesn't.
could. He couldn't do that. So in that way, I will say that I'm way more evolved than the dude. But like, I'm just gonna say that I thought he did an amazing job and give him major fucking props.
Well, let me tell you something. That's very nice to see that you guys came around on that.
Yeah.
Also, he'll never hear or watch this show.
No, but maybe someone will tell him.
No way.
You don't think so?
Nah.
You don't think any of the Santino, the Whiskey Ginger crew, what do we call them? The Whiskey Ginger Bunch?
I don't call any of these people. I don't. My fans and I have a strict rule.
Don't talk to each other.
Don't talk to each other.
Don't make
Everyone
eye
is on their
contact.
own island.
You're like
No, I
Martin
don't-
Lawrence on a movie set.
I
Don't
highly
make eye
doubt this.
contact.
Yeah, don't look me in the eye. This won't get back to him it won't get back to him because
I don't care because I have actually nothing to hide. And the truth of the matter is, what he did back then was shitty, and we roasted the fuck out of him for it, and it got back to him, and he was upset about it, and so that had its own turn. And then after that, I'm saying I can actually step aside and be like, this guy's great. I give him all the credit. in the world.
that's growth. You did the thing that we're all striving to do.
So in those moments, and I think this is what it is to have like older kids and have kids who are, like I said, people, you are trying to teach them that this is the way to be.
Sure.
This is how you do it. If you're mad at someone, and even if you feel like you're right, there's a moment where you have to be like, me continuing to be mad at you, one of my kids, is not going to help here.
No.
So I'm going to now show you a bunch of love. Why? Because when you're in a relationship with someone in the future and you're in it, I want you to be able to say, I saw how it was done correctly. I saw that like there's a moment where like pushing forward with the anger doesn't mean anything anymore. You have to just step back, say you're sorry, and move forward for the betterment of that relationship.
That's very sweet.
Right?
You harbor nothing.
I mean, I
Not for
can't.
long.
I can't. I'll harbor it for a while, but like I'll just get in my Chevy Bolt and zip around some asshole and be like, fuck you. Drive by a gas station and be like, I'm doing all right.
That's right. And he'll go, that guy's okay. Mm-hmm. He's good with Dice now.
Look, I hope Dice is good with us, but
He's
I
not.
actually hope he's still.
He's not. He called me yesterday.
Oh, Jesus.
He goes, you're having the Sklar Brothers on this show? I hate those douchebags. Look in the camera right now and end the episode when I walk off by saying one word or one phrase when I'm off.
Okay. Jews
Moist.
control the media.
In here, we pour whisk, 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 whisk.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.